What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video double upload day today. We're doing team selection ahead of game week 17. There's a bit of chaos. There could be more games called off this weekend. I'm going to try and cover that the best I can from the angle of my own team. I'm probably going to go from rolling a transfer to taking a -4, maybe more. And I'm going to talk through what kind of circumstances, scenarios and stuff might change my thinking, right? Nothing's going to be locked in until much closer to the deadline. There's just no need this week to do early transfers unless you absolutely have to, because so much could change. So obviously I'm going to talk about what I might do, but I won't be confirming anything until tomorrow. And obviously we'll have a quick look at how I did in game week 16 as well. So if you do enjoy it, give it a like, hit that subscribe button if you are new around here, and let's jump into it. So game week 16, we finally got a green arrow. It's been a long time coming, like a proper green arrow as well, not just a couple of thousand places. And by the way, if you're like top 2k, top 3k, then a couple of thousand places is great. But when you're like nearly going outside the top 200k, it's pretty poor. So I went up from about 190k to 156k with 74 points. Didn't take a hit or anything like that. I just did Kane to Ronaldo, and that was it. That was my only transfer. And most of my team returned, unlike previous week. So Cancelo got 7, even though he's suspended now. Ramsdale came in with 11, which was huge. Saka came in with 5, got a yellow card, unfortunately, but so lost the point there, but gained a point from the clean sheet. Annoyingly, he hit the post. What a mega haul that would have been. Mboma obviously came in with a late penalty, which I talked about a couple of times already. Salah captain, obviously, he always does well. Ronaldo with the penalty too. I mean, the most frustrating thing was probably the Chelsea defence. Again, it's just been awful since I brought them in, or since I doubled up on both of them. Reece James got like 1 point over 4 games. That's Marcus Alonso's first attack and return since I've had him. No clean sheets for him either. So they have been pretty poor. And Antonio obviously blanked again. He is a bit of a concern, but as has been the case for like the last couple of weeks, like pretty much ever since he started blanking, there's always been another player for me to deal with, and that is exactly the same this week. So overall, the team was pretty good. I'm really happy with the decision to bench Jota, because I thought there was a chance that he would get benched, come on for a cameo. He did come quite close to scoring, by the way, so I could have been punished for that, but I'm glad I made the decision, because I actually had quite a good bench, right? Some people didn't, so they probably played Jota, which is absolutely fine. But overall, happy. 74 points, bit of a green arrow. The safety score was something like 71, so 3 points gave me like a quite a big green arrow. That just shows you how tight it is still. So we're not panicking just yet, but there are some things to be concerned about ahead of game week 17, so let's talk about them. Okay, so the reality is, with the situation with COVID and stuff at the moment in the UK, within Premier League teams and stuff like that, things can change pretty quickly, but I don't have the ability to basically wait until absolutely everything is decided before putting the videos out. So the way I'm going to go through this at first is just to go through my team as if there's no postponements. But I'm very obviously aware that Man United versus Brentford could be called off. And to be honest, very much looks like it probably will be called off. So this video is not going to go to waste. I'm absolutely going to talk about what I will do if that match gets postponed. Right? And I think I'm going to be pretty clear in exactly what transfers I'm going to do. Right? I'm quite happy with how the team looks and what moves I would make. So let's just quickly go through the team as it is. So one free transfer. I've only got 0.4 million in the bank. So having Ronaldo up front, spoiler alert, is obviously holding a lot of budget right now. So there's not too much to go around the team. In defence, again, Ramsdale not being sold anytime soon. Trent Alexander-Arnold, one of the best players in the game, not being sold anytime soon. Cancelo, I'm absolutely benching. I don't really see any reason to sell him. He started every single game this year. He was due a rest anyway. And I've got a bit of a bench, Livramento and Brownhill as well. Now, with Livramento, he is a slight doubt. It did kind of sound like he'll probably play, but he is a little bit of a doubt. I'm not too worried about it, though. And Brownhill didn't start the last game, but I'm hoping that he will get straight back into the side. So let's see what happens. With Alonso and James, I am concerned, right? Chelsea not looking great. Alonso's not as good as Chilwell. Kovacic and Kante are still missing. So chances are that this will be a difficult game for them against Everton. My only kind of hope is that after Everton, Wolves away, Villa away and Brighton at home, 2 out of 3 of those games, they seem okay for a clean sheet, right? Like Wolves and Brighton are not the most attacking teams. So if they can happen to get a result here, maybe one or two, both of them get attack and returns, or maybe they get the clean sheet, then suddenly I won't feel so bad about them going forward. Eventually, there is going to have to be a plan to get rid of them, but I don't want that to be right now. There's other things to be concerning myself with, so they're probably going to stay. So the defence I still think is looking okay. I think all this talk about the fact that big at the back is done. Well, Cancelo just got another good score. Trent just got another good score. You know, Alonso got an attacking return. If you had Reece James and Rudiger, you were probably feeling okay. It's not like all the attackers that people had as well came in. So I think people are very quick to react, right, one way or another. So suddenly, big at the back, we have to rush out to get them, and now it's like a big rush to sell them, and it's probably somewhere in the middle. So I'm a little bit worried about Chelsea defence, but for now I'm going to keep them. Okay, so moving on to midfield, as always, the Liverpool players super easy. They are staying unless we get news that any of them are injured or the game's going to be called off for whatever reason. Salah's definitely going to be my captain. This is one of the best fixtures you can get at the moment. Newcastle at home. A lot of people are asking me about triple captain. I'm guessing because of what happened against Leicester. For me, like, if you're going to triple captain in a single game week, then doing it against teams like Norwich at home, Newcastle at home, Watford at home, they're the teams that you want to do it on. But I just think around Christmas, is it worth the risk where the games are coming thick and fast? Even Salah at some point might get a rest, and people seem to think that because he's going to African Cup of Nations, Klopp will just play him and play him and play him because who cares, right? He's not going to be available. But he doesn't want his star man getting injured, right? He doesn't want him not being able to go to African Cup of Nations because he's injured. He wants him back fresh and ready to play again in the league afterwards. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be this week, and he may not get a rest, but at some point it could happen. But for now, he's going to be my captain, but not my triple captain. And Jota, I'm really pleased with because I benched him last week, and obviously he was on the bench and came on, so he's almost certainly going to start against Newcastle, especially when Firmino's back training, but wasn't even in the squad. He's obviously going to be bedded back in a lot slower. The other two are more interesting. Now, I would have originally been benching Mbeumo and playing Cancelo, but because Cancelo went and got his 5th yellow card, he's got to be on the bench, and Mbeumo comes in. But he could be one of the ones that misses out if Man United and Brentford is called off. Now, I don't know if I would sell Mbeumo in that situation, which I'll come on to in a minute, because he will be. The game would only be called off from a Man United point of view. So in that scenario, Brentford get an extra bit of rest, and then they get to play Southampton away in game week 18. So if I needed him, or even if I wanted a good bench option, it might be worth keeping him and selling Brownhill instead. The only downside to that is you're taking out a player this week who might play, and keeping a player that probably won't play this week, obviously if the game's postponed, but it does give me better options next week. So I don't know if I would definitely sell him, but obviously someone like Bowen would be good. I just don't have the money for it, so I would need to get the funds from somewhere. So Mbeumo's probably going to stay in my team. If the game goes ahead, he definitely plays in my team and I don't make a transfer. But if the game's called off, I might keep him anyway, and that will become a bit more clear in a sec. And then with Saka, look, he's got a couple of returns in the last kind of 2 or 3 games, so I'm kind of okay with him. And after West Ham at home, it's kind of, I can't remember which order it's in, but it's basically Norwich away and Leeds away. So they're 2 fixtures I'm happy to keep him with. He is nailed, right? I think right now you look at that Arsenal team, and Lacazette playing up front, Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka. Smith Rowe might come back in, and he didn't really do anything wrong when he was fit, but the players that have come in instead of him are also doing really well, and there's nothing to say that Odegaard will be put back a little bit deeper and Smith Rowe will definitely come back, whereas with Saka, I don't have those concerns. When he's fit, he is absolutely nailed. Sometimes, people said on the stream that he's a bit of an injury concern, but he's played minutes in every single game so far this season. So when he's available, Arteta always plays him, and I think given the people are kind of struggling to put 11s out, there's more postponements and stuff like that, having someone like Saka in the squad is pretty good. I'm quite happy with him, to be honest, for the next 3. So I'm probably going to play him as well. All right, this is where things get a little bit tricky, because obviously if Mbeumo's missing out, it's because the Man United game's off, and therefore Ronaldo's missing out, who have only just brought in. And the thing is, and what we saw last year, I've kind of spoken about this the last couple of weeks, right, is when one game gets called off, the next game also has a chance to be called off. So we saw with Spurs, their European game was called off, and then their Premier League game was called off. And it does look like the game against Leicester might go ahead, but there is a chance it gets called off, right? So with Man United, it might not just be Brentford that gets called off. It could be Brighton at the weekend as well. And then suddenly you've got someone that's worth £12.5 million sat on your bench for 2 weeks. You're probably in a lot of situations, better off spreading that cash out elsewhere. And like with the other two players, like King, obviously I've only just bought him in. He's cheap. He's a nice squad player. He's definitely going to play. And Antonio, I'm never going to get a chance to take him out. And to be honest, I don't want to. The fixtures are really good. While he's fit, while he's playing, while there's no postponed West Ham games, I want to keep him in the side. So Ronaldo is the issue. So what I've done is I've done this graphic as well. And this is basically what the team looks like with benching Ronaldo and Mbeumo. Now, to be honest, it's not that bad, right? For considering this is no transfers, no hits, having to play Livramento and Brownhill, okay, it's not ideal, but it's not that bad. But, like I said, Livramento is a slight doubt. Brownhill didn't start the last game either. And I am like kind of down to the bare bones. So if anyone misses out, I've literally got no bench because Ronaldo and Mbeumo would be postponed potentially. And chances are by the time you watch this, that game will be called off. And Cancelo's missing out as well. So I don't really want to go in with that team and then just to have 2 free transfers the week after. The problem is there's not really any obvious transfers to make, right? Let me tell you the predicament. I sell Ronaldo. Which striker do I get, right? Which forward do you get? So let me just go through the list, right? And I'll tell you why I hate all of them, okay? Let me just make this a little bit bigger. So Dennis, look, not saying he's a bad option, but do I really want to double up with King? Now, there's a couple of, I don't really mind double ups with the forwards. As things go. It doesn't happen very often because often in FPL now, a lot of players are listed as midfielders who play in the more attacking positions. So I'm not worried about doing it from that perspective, like having 2 players from Watford. But in the current situation, if Watford then gets called off, that's 2 of my strikers going. If they have a bad fixture, that's 2 of my strikers with a bad fixture. And I've already got King, obviously. So I don't really want to go to Dennis. Vardy, there's no way I'm paying that much money for right now. Antonio, I already own. Ronaldo's the guy we're thinking of selling. St. Maximin, there's just no chance. The fixtures aren't even that good for Newcastle. Liverpool, hey, Man City, Man United. Jesus is a minute's concern. Pukki I like. Pukki's probably one of my main contenders, to be honest. Nailed on 90 minutes penalties. Josh King I already own. Tony's still a doubt, and the game could be called off anyway. Morpay, I just don't think I want to go there. And also, if the Man United game gets called off against Brentford, it could be the Brighton one that gets called off at the weekend. So then he'd miss that game anyway. Wilson, same situation as St. Maximin with fixtures. Jimenez is suspended, has bad fixtures. Watkins is really the other one, right? I'm just a little bit wet because the fixtures are great. The fixtures are brilliant. And a Villa attacker really probably is the top pick right now if you can nail the right one. But Ings is back now. So is Ings going to play the central role and Watkins going to go left? Do I want to risk one of those two, not knowing exactly what's going to happen? So I'm not 100% sure on that. But the fixtures are brilliant. So they are really the team that I'd like to kind of target. Benteke is a minute's risk, right? Him and Edouard keep getting rotated, and you just go down and down the list. Aubameyang's having this disciplinary issues. Hwang I'm not going to buy right now. Ings I've just spoke about. Watkins. Wood just got brought off in 59 minutes. I'm even convinced that he's going to play 60 every single week. Richarlison, blah, blah, blah. Like, the list goes on. There just aren't many options. So I think, looking at this team and then obviously looking at how the team looks right now, Ronaldo to come someone like Pukki could be an option because it gives you kind of the least amount of money to spend while having a decent player that's good, then a squad player. And he doesn't have to be played every week. Now, that would give me 6.9 million to spend. And like I said just a minute ago, I could take out Mbeumo and keep Brownhill and hope that he's a good sub this week. But just in case something we get to next week and something else happens, it might not be that bad of an idea to have Mbeumo against Southampton away. And look, we don't want to joke around about how bad he's been and stuff like that. At the end of the day, he's a nailed-on player. And Southampton away wouldn't be a bad fixture. I'm not saying I hold him forever, but that's playing on the back of my mind. So you swap Brownhill out and you've got 11.3 million to spend, which is so much money. But again, I come to midfielders. Who the hell do you buy? Like, really, who do you buy, right? Not going to go for Spurs players right now. I've already got triple Liverpool. I think Bowen could be an option. The player I really want is a Man City player. So potentially Bernardo Silva could be the one. He might be the one I bring in this week because I think Leeds is a good fixture for them. Plenty of returns. Newcastle obviously as well. And Brentford too. So 3 of the next 4. And Leicester haven't been defending that well either this season. Are really good for Man City. A team that we know are going to score goals. The problem is, right, I can only come up with problems. Not too many solutions in this. And this is all my own problems I'm creating. It's all well and good that Pep said that everybody is fit. Right? He said everyone's fit apart from Ferran Torres. But last week, Foden had an ankle issue that was going to be an ongoing niggle for him. Gundogan had back problems. So are they fully recovered from that? Or are they just kind of fit as in they're feeling okay right now, but next week they might not be feeling okay? And it's hard to know. So Foden's the one I really want to buy. And if he starts this week, is he then going to start Newcastle as well? Whereas Bernardo Silva, you expect him to start both of them. So I think my move will probably be for a Man City midfielder, and I'm torn between Foden and Bernardo. I don't think I'm going to go for Gundogan because I think he will miss out this week. Even though the opposite could be true the week after, right, against Newcastle. I think with Mount, I don't want to load up with another Chelsea player because later on I'm going to have to then get rid of him with the tough fixtures and the blank fixtures. And the same with Lukaku. I just don't think you can say that he is guaranteed to play week in, week out at the moment. So he's not an option either. And let's just say I go for Foden because he's more, let's just do this because he's more expensive. So you put Foden in. And then that's the team for game week 17. So you play Ramsdale, you play your 3 defenders, Alonso, James, Trent. You got your 4 midfielders, Saka, Foden, Salah, Jota. And then you play all 3 players up front. I think Pukki against Villa at home is okay. Bearing in mind that could be Watkins or Ings. And then there's 3.3 million in the bank, which you just save for a rainy day, right? That could be Mbeumo to Bowen the week after. It could be Mbeumo to another Man City midfielder. I could just double up on Man City midfield, maybe put Bernardo Silva in, and then still have 1.1 million to spend. Bearing in mind, at some point, I might sell one of the Chelsea defenders to get even more money. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I think if we come back to this team, if the Man United game goes ahead and we get confirmation it's going ahead before tomorrow, bearing in mind it's to be played Tuesday evening, so we will find out before the deadline, then I think I'll probably just roll the transfer, right? I'm probably just going to roll the transfer. But if we get into a situation where I've got to play this team, then I'm probably going to come back to this. And I think it'll be Ronaldo to Pukki, play him against Villa, and then bench him going forwards when I need to. And not have the issue where when King has a bad fixture, so does Dennis. And probably getting a Man City midfielder. And I think Foden will probably be the one. But I'm just not 100% sure about his minutes right now because of that ankle issue. And maybe the safer option is Bernardo Silva. And then I think the fallback plans are, there's lots of midfielders to go for right now. Gallagher, another Man City midfielder, could go for Bowen as well. And so I don't feel that restricted. And I just think with this forward line, look, I didn't think at the start of the season I'd be considering going for Antonio, King and Pukki. I absolutely did not think that. But the way things are going right now, I just don't think it's that bad of a forward line. There's just not too many other options apart from the Aston Villa players. And let's just say I went for Watkins. So I think Ings is a bit of a punt right now. I don't know if punt's the right word, but do you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't been starting. Is he going to suddenly come back in and take that number 9 spot? He might, and Watkins could play wide. He's done it before in his career. Am I 100% sure that's going to happen? I don't know. But I could still do Watkins in and Foden. I would just have 1.6 million to spend. But again, that could be Mbeumo to Bowen, Mbeumo to Gallagher. So I've still got to get out. It's not like Watkins completely stops me from doing any other moves. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Let me know if you think I've missed anything as well. There we go. That is it for this one. I've tried to cover it all, whether the Man United game gets postponed or whether it doesn't. Hopefully, like, thoughts around players and stuff like that is still useful. Whatever happens, I just can't wait around forever for that announcement to be made. But I think I probably will take the hit. Obviously, there is a risk I take the hit and then those players then get called off. But I can't just not make any transfers for fear of a game getting postponed. And I do have those concerns that if one does get postponed, it does mean that the next one is also at risk. So if Man United Brentford's off, like I said, Man United versus Brighton could also be off as well. So that's probably why I would look to offload Ronaldo straight after buying him. But we'll see what happens. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a like. Hit that subscribe button if you are new around here. And I'll catch you again tomorrow for the game week preview, where I'm sure there'll be a whole heap of new stuff to talk about.